She's a clothier in the foreign quarter. I think her shop is in the canal works. Nice merchandise, actually.
Alright, so here's a guy here. He's an Argonian, so here's some example voices that were sent to me.
We are the people of the root, called Argonians by the Warmbloods. We go where we will, wet or dry, and the currents of blood magic run swift in our veins. In our native land, we hunt to live, masters of the marshes. Hunted and enslaved by soft-skinned enemies, we snare and slay them by stealth, spell, and steel.
Let me tell you a little about the Blight. The Blight is a weather phenomenon associated with Vardenfell's colossal volcano, Red Mountain, persistent within the Ghost Fence. That is, within the crater and on the volcano's slopes. That is, within persistent within the Ghost Fence. And intermittent near the volcano. The Blight is a health-threatening, ash-heavy volcanic cloud. Plants and creatures exposed Plants and creatures exposed to the Blight may contract a variety of Blight diseases, so stay away.
The blight storms have been really bad this year. My friend who makes the Margan pilgrimage every year got caught in a real doozy. The office of the watch says they got the one who killed the two ordinators. My parents were bound in slavery. I have always lived in Morrowind all my life. The Ministry of Truth is a celestial body suspended by Vivek's mighty power over the great temple of the High Fane in Vivek City. Bad people? If you're looking for specific names from the Kamana tongue, you should go talk to the Thieves Guild. I can't afford to get involved. Balmora's Imperial Cult Shrine is outside of town to the southeast, in Fort Moonmoth. Aldasi Thirotran is the priest in charge there. The altar there cures disease and poison, and they offer various other services as well.
Khajiit in Morrowind suffer. Huliar is Razid sees you. Your talents are noteworthy, but some question the depth of your devotion. Perform more duties.
Let me tell you a little about the Blight. The Blight is a weather phenomenon associated with Vardenfell's colossal within the Ghost Fence, on Red Mountain's slopes, and in its crater, the weather is always blighted and gloomy. The blight is weather caused by the big volcano, Red Mountain. Morrowind used to be free. Farmers and herders and fishermen ruled by great houses and their noble councils. But since the imperial occupation, the Dummer are more dependent on trade and industry. The dissident priests challenge certain traditional doctrines of the temple. They also criticize abuses of power by the ordinators and accuse the temple leaders of greed and corruption. Ordinators arrest and imprison dissident priests and other heretics. By the terms of the armistice, the Empire cannot interfere. House Telvanni is an independent association of wizard lords, equally hostile to the Empire, the Temple, and Morrowind's other great houses. House Halalu is an ambitious house of traders and merchant princes. They are strong supporters of the Empire. House Redorin is an aristocratic house of noble warriors. They are strong supporters of the Tribunal Temple. House Indoril and House Drez are the two of Morrowind's great houses that have no holdings on Vardenfell. Of Morrowind's 5 great houses, 3 are represented on Vardenfell: House Redorin, House Hlalu, and House Telvanni. The Ashlanders worship their ancestors. Ashlander tribes are led by the Ashken war chiefs and guided by the wisdom and prophecies of their wise woman. The Ashlanders worship their ancestors. The Ashlanders worship their ancestors. By tradition, Ashlanders claim the right to raid other Ashlander tribes and non-Ashlander settlements for booty and slaves. Ashlanders are the nomadic dump. They live in camps of small mobile huts, herding war and hunting the wildlife for meat and hides. Foul murder is punished by compensation, hard labor, or sometimes by writ of assassination. By Redaran customs, killing is justified in war, self-defense, defense of property, affairs of honor, and house war affairs. Other killings are foul murder and must be punished. Other killings Foul murder is punished by compensation, hard labor, or sometimes by writ of assassination. By Redaran customs, killing is justified in war, self-defense, defense of property, affairs of honor. In Telvanni district, town and city Dunmer live either in the metropolitan style of Vivek City, the urban style of towns like Aldrun, or the imperial style of recent settlements like Caldera. Rural Dunmer live in villages, groups of small huts centered around temple compounds. Rural Dunmer live in Ashland and nomadic camps are groups of small portable huts. Ashland and nomadic camps are The native Dunmer cultures are the civilized great house societies of House Redaran, House Lalu, and House Telvanni, each with their own architectures, customs, and traditions. The native Dunmer Recent imperial colonies like Pelagiad look like the same homes and castles you see in Daggerfall or any other western province. Ashlanders are nomadic barbarians living in camps of small portable huts. The imperial cult brings imperial religion to the Empire's remote provinces. Imperial cult priests provide worship and services for the 9 divines at imperial shrines throughout Vardenfell. Imperial cult Morrowind is an imperial province, though the Treaty of the Armistice lets the first Dunman nation, Resdane, was ruled by the First Council and the Tribunal Temple. The name changed to Morrowind when it became an imperial province. The name The First Age Dunmer tribes that settled Morrowind became the modern Great House clans. Ashlanders also descend from these early Dunmer tribes. In the First Age, the prophet Veloth led the ancestors of the Dunmer from Somerset Isles to the region of Morrowind. Blight is a sickness you get from being outside during ash storms. The sickness comes from Red Mountain. It makes normal creatures into terrible monsters. The sickness Western Imperial colonists, of various races, live mostly in the towns and villages of southwest Vardenfell. House Dunmer are the common dark elves of Morrowind. They live everywhere on Vardenfell, in towns, villages, manors and farms. Ashlanders are primitive native nomads living in the wilderness. There aren't many of them. Three cultures live on Vardenfell: the nomadic Ashlanders, the settled House Dunmer, and the Western Imperial colonists of all races. The Morag Tong are honorable, law-abiding executioners and assassins. They hate the Dark Brotherhood, the outlaw Western Assassins Guild. Dunmers say they hate necromancers, vampires, and all undead, but they guard their tomb with ghosts and animated spirits of their ancestors. What's the difference? What's the difference? The Dunmer are a serious people, and very serious about their gods and the temple. Most Dunmer worship the Tribunal, 3 mortals who became gods in the distant past before Tiber Septim. The temple takes care of the poor, provides health and education, and teaches family duty. The temple... The Imperial Legions are the greatest fighting force Tamriel has ever known. In Morrowind they serve as guards, but the garrisons are assurance that the Dunmer... In Morrowind... Three Dunmer great houses... The Halalu are loyal friends of the Empire and love trade and wealth. The Red... The Tel... Somebody said... The Dunmer don't like Outlanders. After 4 centuries they... I understand their loyalty. The Dunmer don't like... The Imperial cult worships the night... and Tiber Septim. Imperials are... The 2 criminal guilds here are the Komuna Tong, the native criminal syndicate, and the Thieves Guild, the Imperial newcomers. The Thieves Guild is fighting... The Thieves Guild is fighting for its life against the ruthless and well-established Komuna Tong. The Imperial and the Thieves Guild, the Imperial newcomer. Criminal guilds here are the Komuna Tong, the native criminal syndicate, and the Thieves Guild, the Imperial newcomers. The Thieves Guild is fighting for its life against the ruthless and well-established Komuna Tong. The two criminal guilds here are the well-established Munatong. And the Thieves Guild. Slavery is protected by law in Morrowind. Slavery is illegal throughout the rest of the Empire, but some dumb mistakes. In Morrowind, but some In Morrowind, slaves are bound by enchanted slave braces. The braces The Emperor should put a stop to slavery, but the Dunmer claim the right. About 50% of Vattenfell's inhabitants are Dunmer. The other half are Redguard. Inhabitants are Dunmer. About 50% of Vattenfell. In case you didn't know, weapons and armor are less effective when they get worn out. Repair them yourself. Repair them yourself. Worn out weapons and armor work poorly. Repair them yourself if you have some skill, or take them to a smith for repair. Mazte is a local beer brewed from fermented saltries. Cheap, plentiful, and invigorating, this beverage is very popular, despite its dulling effect of wit and judgment. For the price, folks are willing to feel dumb and weak-willed, so long as they feel really strong. Cheap, plentiful. Despite it, for the price. Go to Hlalu Council Manor for House Hlalu services. Temple faithful, go to the Balmoral Temple. Outlanders go to Fort Moonmoth for the Imperial Legion and Imperial Cult southeast of town. Go to Hlalu Council Manor for House Hlalu services. Outlanders go to Fort. Try Balmoral Fighters Guild or Balmoral Mages Guild. Morag Tong Office. And a few traders in Labour Town. The native Comberry wine is locally called Sheen. Sheen is a strong stimulant, but using it results in impaired judgment. You may gain a lot of endurance, but you won't be very smart. You may gain Selville Saraloth runs the Siltstrider port on the southwest side of town, just inside the wall. Fares vary depending on distance. From here in Balmoral you can travel to Seydanin and Aldrune. From Seydanin you can travel to Vivek. From Aldrune you can travel to Nesis and Margan. Selville Saraloth runs the Siltstrider port on the southwest side of town, just inside the wall. Fares vary depending on distance. From here in Balmoral From Seydanin you can travel to Vivek. From Aldrune you can Skooma is an illegal narcotic substance made from refined moon sugar. Criminals use it as a kind of currency. They say it makes you fast and strong, but clumsy and stupid. Of course, I want nothing to do with it. They say it makes you fast. None of the Hlalu councillors live in Balmora. Heleno Dorvain at the council hall is the ranking Hlalu local. At the Fighters Guild, Adis Fireeye is the steward. Athasi at the Fighters Athasi Rilvain is the Moragtong steward. Feldrelu Sadri is the steward for the Balmoral. Who am I missing? Oh, Mages Guild. Ranis South Wall is a working Southwall is a working-class corner club in Balmora, east of Odai River on the south end of Labour Street, owned by Bacula Closius. Roads south lead to Pelagiad, Seidanin and Vivek. Siltstrider service goes to Seidanin, Aldrun, Saran and Vivek. Roads north lead to Caldera and Aldrun. Guild guides at the Mages Guild can teleport you to Aldrun, Vivek, Caldera and Sadrith Mora for a fee. Hlal Oad is southwest on the coast. There's no trail and it's easy to get lost. The only route to Ghostgate is via Foyad and Mamea. Roads south lead to Pelagiad, Seidanin and Vivek. Siltstrider service goes to Seidanin, Aldrun, Saran and Vivek. Roads north lead to Caldera and Aldrun. Guild guides at the Mages Guild can teleport you to Aldrun, Vivek, Caldera and Sadrith Mora for a fee. Hlal Oad is south lead to Pelagiad, Seidanin and Vivek. Roads south lead to Pelagiad. Roads north lead Hlal Oad The local Dunmill liquor, Sujama, is extremely potent, and indulgence results in elevated spirits and diminished mental faculties. Has a kick like a gua, very strong and just as stupid. Has a kick like a gua, very strong and Telvanni bugmusk is an expensive perfume made from the scent glands of Graysland beetles. The substance is sold in sealed flasks and appears as a dark red-brown paste. The subtle but compelling fragrance is attractive to all mortal races and sexes. Even a barbarian can be persuasive wearing this perfume. The substance the subtle but the staple is the sultry screen, usually eaten as a cooked porridge. As everyone knows, the Thieves Guild is at war with the Kimona Tong. The Thieves Guild is the new gang in town, and the Kimona Tong, the old gang, wants the Thieves Guild dead. It's a mess, you don't want to get involved. As everyone knows, the Thieves Guild Well, that's your choice. Let me know if you change your mind, traveler. Somebody said Larius Varro over at Fort Moonmoth is looking for you. Said he wanted to talk to you. Don't know what about. I am Benunius Agridilius, publican. I am Benunius Agridilius, publican. I am Benunius Agridilius, publican. I think she lives by the river, on the east side of town. I'll take a look over there. Thank you, traveler. She lives in town somewhere. Look around, you lazy fetcher. I'll take a look over there. Thank you, traveler. No idea where he went? Damn. He's probably halfway to the mainland by now. Thanks, traveler. I'd best start looking for the next slave on my list then.